Dun, 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 dun. Oh,
All
there you
right.
are.
What's going on, old buddy?
Oh, not much. How's it going?
It's all good, man. It's all good.
How's
It's good.
LA?
Same as San Diego,
Yeah?
with a few, I don't know, minor details, which might be a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same thing, bro.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, LA County's still pretty much shut down for the most part.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big news.
3 more months. 3 more months of Groundhog's Day.
I'm so over it. I'm so over it. At
I
least I've
mean,
got to learn a lot about everybody.
yeah, right.
These have been fun.
It took a pandemic for us to slow down to, get to know everyone a little bit
Right,
better. So it's
right.
all good though. Just take it
Yep.
with stride, and I don't think this obviously isn't a forever thing, but it's not a very short thing either.
No.
So, um,
Yeah.
hopefully everybody's staying healthy and sane out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Well,
what's good, bro?
let's talk about you. I want to learn all about you today since
Yeah.
I want to
The
know
end.
how you started golf. Let's start there.
How I started golf?
Yeah, what age?
Uh, 10, 10 and a half.
10.
Yeah, about 10 and a half, right in that age.
Why?
I went to go visit my uncle for the first time in Florida. Rest his soul, he's no longer with us, but my uncle, his name was Obi. And it's funny, years later when we played golf, whenever we played with him, we just call him Bob because OB and OB stakes never went well on the golf course. So he was a huge golf nut, and he loved playing golf. He lived in New York, and he had a vacation home in Florida that he would go to. And it was the first time I got to meet him when I was 10 years old. So we went to go visit him in Florida, and I was stoked because I was like, hey, we're at Disney World.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything is Disney World in Florida to me as a 10-year-old, first time ever traveling out of the state. So uh, he, we go to the golf course where his house is, and the next day he goes, hey, John, I'm going to take you to a driving range tomorrow with my dad. And I'm thinking, we're going to drive something because we're in
yeah,
Disney World, right? I'm even thinking that his house is part of Disney World. Literally,
yeah,
like I look out the window and I'm like, wow, this is part of Disney World. Um, so he ends up taking me to a driving range, and I go, hey, I thought I was going to drive. Like, I was thinking I'm going to drive a car.
yeah,
And he's like, no, man, this is the driving range. You hit golf balls. And
yeah,
I'm not going to lie. And I was pouting. So I sat under a tree while he was trying to teach my dad how to hit a golf ball. And my
yeah,
dad's missing it, and, clubs flying out of his hand, the whole bit. And it's hot as heck there in Florida. It's 90 degrees and humid, and coming from SoCal, dude,
yeah.
we don't do that, right?
Florida weather's tough.
Yeah, that's a no-go for us mainly. So somebody left some range balls in the tray, and I grabbed his driver without him looking, and kind of just figure this thing out and grip it, and I hit it, like $1.25 right down the middle.
Wow.
And I do it again. I'm just paying attention. My uncle finally turns around and looks and goes, "Is that you?" And I go, "There's nobody else here, Unc." So he goes, "Do it again." And so I go ahead and I start doing it. I hit like 5, 6, 7, 8 more. I do the same thing, and my uncle goes, "You're playing golf." And it wasn't until 6 months after that, after we got home, I still didn't touch a set of clubs. I didn't touch the
Oh,
club. He bought me a junior set on the way home, which I still have to this day in the garage.
really? That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And he bought me the junior set. We come home, and my dad picked me up from football practice one day, and goes, "Hey, I signed up for some golf lessons. Do you want to take them?" And yeah, sure, whatever. And I go take my first lesson from Mr. Ed Coleman. He's no longer with us, but no joke, he was like in the LA Times. I didn't know about a bunch of stuff till after he passed away. About like he did a lot of things. Let's just say that good
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Um, and anyways, I took my first lesson from him. He was very intimidating, and after the lesson, he looks at my dad and goes, yeah, he's not bad. How long has he been playing? And my dad's all like, well, it's the second time he's ever hit golf balls. And he goes, well, he's pretty good, so you might want to do something with it.
Yeah.
So 6
Nice.
months later, I was playing tournament golf and won my first 2 events. And after that, dude, it was kind of off to the races. I just fell in love with the competition.
Wait, you won your first 2 events?
Yeah, I did. So it
That's
was,
funny.
I just got hooked on the competition, dude.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun. So
then you went crazy with it. So as a junior, how good did you get?
I was ranked 5th in the country.
Yeah.
By Golf Week and I guess Golf Digest or something like that. My contemporaries that I played with, like Charles Howell, Trevor Immelman, Adam Scott, David Gossett back in the day, if you remember that name. So those are all my contemporaries.
We're about the same age, right?
Yeah, I'm 40. I just turned 40
All
this
right,
year.
so I'm a year older.
Yeah. So
I just remember hearing all about you when I was, late high school and getting into competitive golf. But
it probably wasn't anything good, dude.
he's pretty good. Who's this guy?
But yeah, that was sort of how it all started, in terms of the junior days and Jen Park was a good buddy of mine to this day. Like he was my nemesis growing up, man. It was always like I'm like, I got him, and then the last second is like, dude, really? Did you just make that putt on me? So that was
great.
my SoCal nemesis, but we're still great friends today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What were you a range rat? Did you practice? What was your schedule like back then?
I was everything golf. Like I can't say that I liked playing more than practicing or vice versa. Yeah. I just did a lot of it. And I tell my juniors today, I'm like, I get it that you're going to be one or the other. Like you see that a lot, where obviously, dude, you're a great coach and you work with so many players and you see it, right? You'll see some people are just like, dude, they really get it from practice and some get it from play. I was just a golf junkie, man. Yeah. And I just was like, dude, if it's practice, all right, we're going to practice for 10 hours. And if it's play, we're going to play 54 holes today, Yeah. And, the environment that I grew up in was at Westchester Golf Course, which is on LAX property. And it's a lighted driving range, which was good for me, not good for my dad, who was taking me course. Because, I mean, there's times where he would drop me off at 7 a.m. and I wouldn't leave there till 10 p.m. at night, and it was nonstop. It was because I loved doing it, right? It was just, it's like today, that's my fishing. You know what I mean? I can go fishing for 10 straight days and if you don't, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just give me some food and water and you don't have to worry about me. But that was, dude, I was a constant, to this day, I'm just, to this day, even then, I was just always a student of the game. To like renting VHS tapes at the golf course, you get them for $2 a night. You can keep them for 24 hours. 24 hours, you keep 24 hours VHS tape. I got real ghetto and I just started recording them. Copying the tapes, old VHS tapes. You put the little tape on the corner there so you could record it.
That's hilarious.
So we would copy it, and I would just mimic golf swings, and it was a never ending student of the game deal. Yeah. So,
were you hanging out with other kids or more adults?
I hung out a lot with. It's funny you say that, dude. We didn't have where I grew up. There wasn't many junior golfers. Yeah. So I was always playing with adults, playing with guys, maybe some mini tour guys. I remember a dude by the name of Mike Diet, Danny Racinto, and these guys that they were always cool to me. You know what I mean? They knew that I was a whatever up and coming player trying to get better, and these guys were better than me. So I probably played with more adults. Like a godfather to me was a guy by the name of Happy Hairston. He used to play for the Lakers. He was on the first championship winning team. And he took me under his wings and mentored me a lot. So he was a great golfer. He was a scratch player. I caddied for him Monday qualifying at senior tour events. I mean, a couple times he caught a playoff. You know what I mean? He's a good player. Yeah. And and Happy is 6'8", right? And me, like, I'm still not tall, right? But that was my deal. Like, I'm trying to outdrive him always from the first time I played with him when I was like 12 years old, and to the point like I finally did outdrive him years later. Yeah. But I probably played with more adults, which I think probably helped my junior development because I was always playing with better players. Yeah. And I tried doing that today. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, I was doing playing lessons with some of the junior academy students and stuff like that, you know, and
Yeah.
just trying to beat, you know, I beat their brains in, you know, and I was talking
Awesome.
trash the whole time,
Yeah.
you know.
Gotta be
So,
competitive.
yeah, man, you got to be competitive. So, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, I think I probably played way more with adults than juniors, than kids my age growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see like kids in your program now? Do you see the same passion for the game that like you had, or the same, you know, dedicated all day type deal?
Not as many, I'll be honest. Not as many. But I tell you this, if you guys don't have that, and girls, it becomes very difficult to try to make it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've been blessed and fortunate, just like you. We've been around some of the best players in the game. They have that. It's not a part-time thing. If you're really trying to get it to the highest level, it's not a part-time deal. It's all in or not.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing is that you have to be all in knowing there's no guarantee of anything
Right.
on the other end, right?
Right.
And it's that crazy that you have to be in this game really to, you know, maybe if you're trying to see it at the highest, try to get it to the highest level.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So
I don't, you know, there's kids, don't get me wrong, I don't want to discourage any of the kids that, you know, because we have those grinders, you know what I mean? And,
yeah.
And, but probably, you know, and maybe even when I was a junior, there really weren't that many. You know, maybe that's the case, but you know, we were in a different bubble then, and we didn't realize it until you're on the coaching side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really even be let alone at the golf course for 12 straight hours like it used to be nowadays.
Yeah.
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 But that's how I was too. What
dude.
did you keep it fun? Because for me, I could practice all day and I always had fun doing it. And I see, you know, some kids, they'll be pretty into it, but they're not really necessarily having fun with it. Like, how important do you think that is?
Oh, dude, it was always fun. And I try to set that up because sometimes we do struggle with the kids. Like, you know, they have, like, we're always trying to, like you're always trying to pull the best out of a person, no matter what, right? And sometimes you'll see that kid with a lot of passion, right? Or probably like with a lot of talent, but they just don't have the passion for it, and you're trying to pull them out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I try to set up even practices to this day where I know like some kid, if I can get them with another player, you know what I mean? They're having a good time and they're out there. I'm constantly doing that and kind of monitoring, you know, and paying attention to who's kind of waning off and who's really into it and try to get them together. But practice and play was always fun. It was always some sort of little bet. Even yesterday, you know, with the kids that I was playing with, I said, all right, dude, here's the deal. Whoever wins gets to post whatever they want on the other person's Instagram. Which on a kid, they're like, oh, dude, slow down, coach.
But definitely got to win that one.
Yeah, man. Even like little things like that. Just, I think it's fun to like just kind of always have some sort of competition. And I did a lot of that. It was always some sort of bet, or I can do this better than you, kind of one-upping always. And I think that's a healthy thing in the game of golf.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, dude.
So what, did you get recruited to go play? Where'd you play college golf?
Yeah, I got recruited. You know, I was lucky, blessed, you know, supportive parents and the whole deal. I was able to go to USC. I played up there as a full ride scholar there at SC. The school's amazing. Number one, my friends that I had on that team, I still talk to this day, which is kind of wild. One of them, I taught his son, Charlie Warner. I taught his son. He brought him down from San Francisco.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, this is weird.
Yeah,
right.
That is weird.
Yeah, that was really. Even one of my a friend of mine that I was friends with her. Heck, we've been friends since maybe like 4th or 5th grade. I taught her son. And those are kind of the weird things now in the game of golf. As you get older, you know the deal.
Yeah.
But so I was able to go play at USC. I played a couple of years there. And then I decided, you know what, it's time to go chase that golf ball around the world. Because that's what I was an international relations major, knowing darn well that probably wasn't going to be what butters my bread. So we played 2 years, and I turned pro after the 2000 U.S. Amateur at Baltusrol. That was the last amateur event I played in.
Nice.
And I went to go chase the golf ball around the world, which was
Awesome.
cool. Yeah.
Where did you head first?
I played Pepsi tour event.
Nice.
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I played on the amateur side for a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I played at Cypress, not Cypress Point, but Cypress down here in Southern California, where Tiger Woods grew up.
Yeah.
That course isn't there anymore, but that was my first event. I remember I ponied up a couple $100. I had about $600 to my name, in the checkbook. Actually had to go get a checkbook. Had it my mom. I didn't even know I didn't have a checking account, right? Took my mom, went to the bank.
You learn a lot quick.
You do, right?
Yeah.
And I got my checkbook, had $600 in it, plopped out $200. I remember I shot 71, and it wasn't a big field. You know, most of those things aren't really big fields. There might have been like 20 people.
Yeah.
And I had my best friend caddy for me at the time, and we got done, kind of turned in our scorecard, didn't think anything of it, you know what I mean? And he comes out, I guess we were maybe like second to last group, and he comes out, he goes, "Hey dude, you won."
Oh, really?
I didn't even know, dude. I was
That's
like,
funny.
"Really?"
Yeah.
I was like, "How much did we win?" And he's all like, $1,400. I was like,
"Oh,
I'm rich."
Yeah.
I'm rich, dude.
You can retire.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, this is easy. So I was telling somebody, like, I smoked a cigar after. It was the only time I ever smoked a cigar in my life. I was gagging on it.
That's funny.
And I signed up to go play the next event, which was a 2-day event on the Pepsi Tour on the desert. That was a $500 entry. And I won that event. And now
So you won your first 2 junior events ever, and you won your first 2 pro events?
Yes.
Did you win your first 2 college events too, or no?
No.
Okay.
I got whooped on by Paul Casey and those guys. Yeah. So yeah, I win that. You know, now I'm really rich. You know, and now I'm like, dude, where's Q school? I'm ready. You know, it's probably the worst thing that could have happened to me, honestly, Chris.
Really?
As a professional, yeah. Though I went to the ranking school, Hooters Tour ranking school, back in the day, the Hooters Tour in California here, and I won that qualifier right after Palm Springs. And so I had full status on the Hooters Tour, which was just the tour below. I mean, there was no playing, like you couldn't win that tour and then move up to the Corn Fair.
Yeah, but it was there was a lot of players playing.
Chad Campbell,
yeah,
you know, all the guys from the South that we had heard of, they all played that tour, you know. Yeah. And Chad Campbell, they keep saying like he made over $1 million playing on the Hooters Tour, which no joke. That's hard to do, but
that's hard
he did it. Yeah. So, you know, I went out there and, you know, I'm coming off a pretty good high there. Got some wins under my belt already and thinking I got this. And I missed my first 6 cuts 6 weeks in a row. Traveling in the South.
Yep.
6 weeks in a row. Questioning life. Questioning anything and everything about how I ever got started in the game.
How quickly were you thinking about that? After the first couple of weeks? Or all 6 weeks? Like
probably after week 2, going into week 3, like,
like what am I doing?
Mm-hmm. And then week 4 and 5 were like, yeah, that's not cool anymore, dude. Like, and then week 6 was like, all right, dude, like, do I even know how to hold a golf club anymore, right? And I was rooming with, and you know, Tim Mickelson.
Yeah, nice.
Timmy and I go way back. I mean, to the point, like, I was about 13 or 14 years old. Him like staying in our room in Las Vegas when we were playing an AJJ event. Mm-hmm. And my parents got a room, and I'm only like 14 years old. And he's like, he and his friend ended up like the last night staying in our room and just like sleeping on the floor. This is how far back we go. And my dad talking to him about real estate and like, hey, yeah, you ever get a chance on, you know, like really try to get into real estate, which to this day, Tim's done pretty good with real estate.
He's done really well with real estate.
Yeah, and I think he'd even tell you, like, yeah, it's probably Mr. Leary that probably kind of planted
the seed.
Funny. Yeah, wow. my dad planted that seed for him years ago. But so we were rooming, and I remember we were traveling to the next event, and I was, of course, just like most golfers, you know, feeling bad for yourself, he and Han, this and that. And he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, "Hey, have you played your best golf in this 6 weeks?" And I was like, "No, dude, but I've missed every cut." He goes, "So then don't worry about it." He goes, "If you play good, you're going to make cuts and you're going to be back up there. Don't worry about it." And I'll never forget that. You know what I mean? That was influential to me at that time, because I was thinking like, oh God, you know, my good golf isn't making the cut. No, dude, it was just my terrible golf wasn't making cuts like most people. You know what I mean? And after that, I made the cut.
Really?
Yeah.
The very next week?
Yeah. I
That's
bounced
funny.
back, made the cut, and started kind of getting my feet under me again. And, you know, and that like my, whatever, that was definitely a big help. And Tim, I don't think I never told him, "Hey dude, thanks for letting me know that, you know, my bad golf, it's okay to miss cuts with bad golf." He told me, he goes, "You got issues if your good golf is missing cuts."
Yeah. But not if you're bad. Yeah. It's good advice.
Yeah. It's really good advice. Really good advice.
Yeah. Why do you think you were playing poorly that 6 weeks? So what was different between that and just out of your element, or trying to play some money?
Yeah, I think a lot of that was just being out of my element. You know what I mean? Like really the first time I mean, I traveled a little bit, you know what I mean, playing the AJJ and stuff like that. But this was like, dude, it was like 2 months I was in the South. You know what I mean? You just had a rental car driving around the backwoods trying to get from tournament to tournament.
Different.
It's different, dude. Like, hey, I don't, like, every week you know nothing about the course. It wasn't like today where you can get in there and like Google Maps.
Right.
So
much more you can do now. Yep.
Yeah, dude, you can set up your grids and all that stuff. It was, I mean, we're hand drawing. I've got some yardage books that my son was like in the garage. I still have a bunch of yardage books. He's like, "How come these are like, were you drawing these?" I go, I was drawing them, and I was even drawing slopes and greens and grain you know what I mean? I was all that stuff, dude. It was that's just the way we did it.
We need to go back to all that. I think it'd be fun to go back to that.
I think it would be. And getting rid of like rangefinders. I mean, it's amazing how many kids to me today really don't know how to work the pin sheet either.
I've handed it to a lot of them, and they go, "What is this?"
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
they do.
They give you one every week. You haven't figured it out.
Yeah,
it's funny.
I mean, it's like my son. I was teaching him last week. He's seen them over the years, whatever. But he's really taken to golf now, and he's like, "Hey, what do these numbers mean?" You know what I mean? And he's looking at my old notes and seeing like how many. Even like I'd always put a front, a middle, and a back, or a front yardage, pin placement yardage, and then a back yardage on my pin sheets. Like, and then I put down what club I hit, the wind direction, you know, what kind of shot I was hitting, and how far it was carrying. You know, all those things. And, you know, a lot of times the kids are just like, dude, it's the 7-iron goes 150 no matter what, whether you're into the wind, downwind, or crosswind, or if it's hot or cold. So, you know, for him to see that, I think is probably, you know, might be helping him out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you learn that way versus just grabbing a rangefinder, I mean, look how much more detail-oriented you are. Look how much more, like when it comes to options of what type of shot you should hit into a green. If it's just hit a straight, hard 7-iron, I mean, that's
not it.
That's not how golf's really played. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. You know, even like, you know, I've been doing a lot more, obviously, on-course stuff now, playing lessons, and I've been able, you know, it's kind of a weird, I don't know, and you probably might fit in this. I don't know, maybe. But like I've coached, I just realized it recently. I coached, caddied, and played on every major tour in North America.
Nice.
And so I was like, probably should start doing a little bit more of this course stuff.
Probably should. Yep.
That's really cool. So that was sort of an epiphany during this pandemic. So
did I see you caddied at the Masters?
I got to do the par 3 contest.
Oh, the par 3.
Because Stads, I was like, dude, I don't know about that. So big hills, man.
Oh, jeez.
That par 3 was more of my, you know, I caddied for him a few times, but I caddied for him at Colonial. That's my perfect spot. If you ever been to Colonial, it's a 90 acre footprint, that golf course. Wow. The entire golf course, 90 acres, and it's flat. Wow. And like pretty much every green is on every tee box.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of my cup of tea.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear a helmet?
No helmets. No helmets. They're
That's funny.
professionals. They're
Yeah.
professionals.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh man. So what did you do? So you played the Hooters tour. Then
Yeah.
what happened after that?
I played the Hooters tour, did that for a couple, 2-3 years. And then they started up a really good tour here in SoCal, the AG Spanos tour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, that was for
Good tour.
SoCal. Yeah, man, for SoCal golfers, dude, that was a godsend for us, because we were traveling far.
That was what, like early 2000s?
Yeah, early
Yeah.
2000s, early to maybe like mid 2000s. There was about a 5-year stretch, maybe roughly of that, give or take a year. But that was a godsend because we were playing for pretty decent money. We were playing for 100% of our the purse was 100% of our entry fee.
Nice.
Where most of the time it's like 70%, something like that.
Right.
So they were padding that, and it was really nice. You know, I was able to make a living doing that. Paid for my first house through a lot of that play.
Wow.
So, you know, that, and then I was Monday qualifying back then. It was called the web.com tour, which is the Corn Ferry tour. And I was getting in events there, as a Monday qualifier. And also I was chasing, I did some Monday qualifiers, and I was able to get into the LA Open a couple times. But yeah, I was able to just kind of chase the golf ball. I played around the world a little bit, played, you know, some events in Asia, and just, you know, just getting around.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Get to see the world chasing a golf ball doesn't suck.
And what age did you do that till?
I toured from 20 till I was about 20. Oh God, pardon me. I did it for about 10 years. Yeah, so about 2010-ish. Maybe 2009, right around there. So I got to do it for a little while. The last couple of years was sort of not as full-time as I'd like it, just because of back injuries. And trying to get back. Just the back wasn't letting me practice the way I wanted to, and that kind of ultimately was the sort of camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say.
Yeah. How's your back now?
It's all right as long as I don't play much.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, I mean, I turned 40, and you know, my daughter's 8, and my son just turned 12. And I figured 10 years, you know, you're looking at the 50 mark, and you know, all right, man, just, I guess the plan kind of starts now, right? I'm trying to make the senior tour one day.
Do it.
You know, you only get one shot at it in life, so give it a shot.
That's awesome. Did you switch right into coaching after that?
I did. There was about a 6-month span there that I between, like, when I was like, dude, I can't play anymore, and then going into coaching, I started up a bait business because I love to fish. So I started up a bait business up in Castaic. I was because I would commercial fish with my buddy, and we catch live sardines and stuff like that, and then I'd take that up to the Lake Castaic, and then I was selling out of the back of my truck. Hey, had to make a living. Mortgage payments kept coming in, right?
Yeah.
And that business actually took off, dude. And and then you know, the sort of the dude that I was doing business with up there, where we had our product, the guy was getting a little bit greedy, and so I was like, all right, dude, I could see the writing on the wall already there. So we kind of shined that, and then went back to hitting some balls over at the range where I'm at now. Yeah. And the teaching pro down there kind of just took to me and liked me for some odd reason. I don't know why. Maybe I offered him water on a hot day or something. Yeah, probably. And actually, it's funny because he actually ended up becoming my son's godfather. So really? Oh, that's funny. Yeah. That's so awesome. He got me he spoke to the powers that be at that golf course, and I started teaching, and it was December 1st in 2008. 2008, December 1st. Was my first day there, and that's where it all started. Yeah. And now you're at Angeles National, right? Yeah, at Angeles National. Yeah. So it's been a good run over there. The only place I've ever taught, you know. Yeah. I don't know anything else. But that's kind of where the teaching began, and you know, I still remember the first lesson I gave that I got paid for, and
Yeah.
man, I'd give that guy his money back real quick. His name's John Lee. I'll never forget it. Guy bought 2 series from me. Actually, I was
isn't
like, he
that
came
funny?
back. Yeah. Oh
My
man.
my worst lesson I ever gave has been with me now and his son for like 12 years.
Yeah.
And
He
like,
does the deal, dude. I
yeah,
still got those guys.
and that was the worst lesson in history.
Yeah. It was whatever you were working on, right?
No, this was
No.
actually. I mean, I'll tell it quickly.
Yeah.
He was. I mean, a decent. I mean, shoots 90 or whatever. He came in the worst grip I've ever seen. Super strong. He hit pitching wedge and he was warming up and he's hitting it like 160 like a knuckleball, just gone.
Right.
I'm like, that's never gonna stop on a green, you know. And so we go down this whole thing, and he's like, "Yeah, I really want it. I want the ball to stop." And he goes down all the things that he wanted. I'm like, "Okay, well, you know, I don't like changing grips, but I think we need to make a little adjustment here to your grip." And he's like, "Okay, I'll do whatever, right?" So he shanks it, dead shanks it for 15 minutes straight, cold shank every shot. I'm like, and this was late in the day. I'd already taught probably 10 hours. It was my last student, like 7:30 at night. I'm like, I'm just going to give this guy his money back and say sorry, come back another time. We'll try to do it again. So I'm like, well, let's just switch gears. Let's hit driver, right? So he pulls out driver, and he's hitting driver 300 yards on a rope, dead straight, flying it against the back fence. And he goes, I've never hit my driver that good. He's like, what did you do? And I was like,
I don't
know, man. Like this was just I'm glad you didn't want to hit me yet, you know. So then he keeps hitting some balls, and at the end he's like, I mean, he gave me like $500 cash. He's like, I'll see you every week, and literally I've been with him every week forever in his game. He shoots 75 now. He takes all his buddies' money. His kid's amazing. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but that was the period of it was just so bad. But anyway,
I've asked that question to a lot of the teachers when I was doing these Instagram lives and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, first paid lesson. What do you remember? I just did a podcast with Jason Sutton, golf guru. Yeah, he's awesome.
He's great.
And I asked him his first lesson as well, dude. They're pretty hilarious, dude. All our stories about.
Yep.
We probably could do shows just on that. Hey, your first golf lesson.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, because we're just teaching. Like for me, I was just teaching whatever the heck I was working on, like for the last lesson I took.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Lee, I'll never forget the guy. It was a walk up on the range.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was a walk up on the range. Yeah.
I know, like a couple of years in, I started talking to Dennis Sheehy quite a bit.
Yeah.
We was having coffee with him every once in a while, and he's like, I had to stop playing and only focus on teaching, because if I was playing, I was teaching what I was working on. And he's like, when you're working with these good players, you can't be doing that. So that was helpful.
You know, he told me the same thing. That's why I quit playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years in. I mean, Dennis was my longtime coach.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yes. Nice. Yeah. That was on the down low for a long time, because that's just the way he worked. You know, Dennis.
Yeah, he's yeah.
Always just quiet. Like, who's that guy? Nobody. You don't need to know. Yeah. So, Dennis was a longtime coach of mine. Yeah, but he finally told me. I was like, dude, you could have told me this sooner. He's like, I was hoping you were going to come back and play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but yeah, that is a good point about it's very difficult to balance, you know, and I mean, Grant Waite has, you know, maybe the best that's done that, but still, I mean, it's still very difficult for him, you know. Yeah. He's still playing and trying to coach at the same time. It's because you know that when you're playing, it's very selfish. It's just about you. When you're teaching, it couldn't be any more on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Yep. It's like, it's not about you. It's about that person in front of you. So, yeah, interesting times, those first lessons.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, but one more question. Where did you get your teaching philosophy from, or how's it developed over the years?
It's evolution, bro. It's evolution. I mean, there's no time like the current right now where the information is flowing so fast and so freely and so easily.
Right.
I mean, if you want to know about anything about wrist, it's 2 clicks of the mouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or 2 taps on your iPad or on your iPhone.
Yeah.
But, you know, with that, there's also experience. So, you know, you're asking who my influences were or are in teaching. You know, I started with Dana Galquist gave me a great tip when I first started teaching, because I went to go talk to him and say, hey, dude, you're teaching, you're a young dude. You know what I mean? I think he might have been in the game for maybe like 8 or 10 years at the time, whatever. I went over to see him at Skylinks in Long Beach and said, hey, what do I do? He's like, okay, this is what I think you should do. This is what I did. And I'm like, all right, cool. What's up? Let me hear it. He goes, go to Mac O'Grady first. Okay. He goes, when you get kicked out with Mac,
Yeah.
he goes, then you'll want to go see Andy Plummer and Mike Bennett. Okay, cool. And then kind of after that, go figure it out. Right. So that's kind of what I did.
Nice.
So those were like my first 2, because like, you know, I worked with Dennis Sheehy. I worked with Craig Chapman. I worked with a little bit with Don Brown, all these guys.
Yep.
But those guys, they weren't like teachers to teachers. There's difference between teachers to teachers and teachers to players.
Totally
There's
different.
a very big difference there, right? So,
Yep.
you know, like I learned a system from Mac, right, of just how to evaluate things. So Mac was a big influence. And Andy Plummer was the same, because he derived from him also. And they all kind of derive from the golfing machine, really. You know, that's their background. But just having some sort of system was implemented early in my teaching career. And then from there, you know, I've gone on to work with Greg McCatton dude, it's like, I'm going to leave out a bunch of people, you know what I mean? Which I'm going to feel bad about. Johnny Ortega in Costa Mesa helped me a lot with putting, you know what I mean? Just James Seekman and all these, you know, it's like I've run the gamut, and I'm constantly, I love learning. Like I said, I'm always a student of the game. So I love learning new things, different ways to explain different concepts and stuff like that. So those were my early influences. And then, you know, Chris Mason is now like sort of I'd say kind of a new chapter for me, learning from him in terms of how he like more like coaching performance stuff. And learning from the things that you do, dude. I mean, I watch what you do, and you're doing phenomenal things yourself. And I see, you know, what are meaningful things to you. And, you know, if you're paying attention to even what guys are posting, you can see where their focuses are, and what's important to them. So, so thank you.
Thank you. I'm learning from you as well.
So, yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. It is. I said it took a pandemic, but you know what I mean?
Right.
We're learning. We're constantly evolving and learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
that's kind of what's going on with the teaching side now.
Nice. Are you teaching the clientele, the wheelhouse that you want to be teaching, or how's that going?
Yeah. You know, I think I am. You know, I've had the opportunity to work with tour players. That's fun and dandy. That's probably not my passion.
Yeah.
My passion, it lies more in the juniors. And I've said this before, where it sounds kind of weird, but I love juniors because I love seeing the development. I'm really big, and I just like seeing development. Like at the Tour Pro, you're telling that person, it's like telling a fish how to swim.
Yeah.
They make you look good, for real. You know what I mean? Tour pros make you look good.
Yeah.
Being honest. And, you know, there's some good work being done. Don't get me wrong. There is.
Yeah.
But it's like so minuscule, right? Like, it's like, wow, man, that guy, he shaved off a eighth of a stroke, dude. That guy's now like, right? It's like,
it's not like taking a kid from 90 to 72.
Yes. That's what I love. And to that point, even like, dude, I love working with beginners. I really do.
Yeah.
You know,
awesome.
It's awesome because you get to see this big development change, you know, and I really enjoy that a lot too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of always been my wheelhouse now, I guess, or it's been wheelhouse is like from the beginner to that developing junior and getting them scholarships and stuff like that. That's I'm good there. I'm good in that realm there. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. So
awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Well, keep it up, buddy.
I
It was great.
appreciate you, man.
It was great to talk to you today.
Good talking to you, dude. We'll talk
Yeah,
soon.
absolutely.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.